Okay, we're having a warp speech freak out with Oliver Senton, the lead actor from The Warp, a legendary actor, an amazing actor, and you're going to love it.
Okay. Just to say, we've got an opening ceremony in the hall in 5 minutes.
Oh, right. Well,
opening ceremony.
Everyone's going to go.
In the hall, about 5.
Why are we going to do the opening ceremony?
Yeah, Fraser and Phoenix, and we'll have the opening ceremony, which is
I'll try and turn that on.
you are going to enjoy, and I'm going to drop this mic and come down myself. Okay, is Fraser here? This song, Raven, do you know Fraser? Could you go get Fraser and Phoenix, please? Because you're the only guy who will obey me. Oh, that's Phoenix in the circle.
Fraser!
That's one of the F's. Even though it begins with PH.
He is.
Here we go. Fraser! Oh, you don't know who he is, Phoenix? Does anybody here know who Fraser is? Does Fraser know who he is? Okay, well, I'll do the music now. And, is that all the details taken care of, Raga? Okay, well, I'm your master of ceremonies tonight, Frank Sinatra. And I'm going to get, like, deadly serious now because this ceremony is definitely about love and whatever Raga has designed it to be. So I'll shut up and cut out with the droll humor. Get some music for you. If there is such a thing. Could everyone please, don't sit off on the side, Mark. Come on, buddy. Come on in the circle, please, Mark. No, please. I'm pleading with everyone. It'll only hurt for a second. You'll just see stars and nurses, and they're probably injecting with sedatives. Guy in the hat with the beard, come on, buddy. It's an opening ceremony, and then the rest of the evening, please. You're going to do it from there, okay? I said please once, that's it. Please, everybody, come into the circle. We can make a circle within the circle. Can we make a circle within the circle, please? 2 circles.
small squeeze between you just to get into the circle?
Yes.
This is a really extraordinary event. This is like part of a whole evolutionary chain of events that began way back with the most amazing thing called the warp at a place called the drome. How many people know the drome and the warp? Yeah. Now, that has been evolving for years and years, right? And right next to me I have a beautiful guy, Neil Oram, who wrote the warp. And so, Fraser, can you tell us what the warp was and why it was so important?
The warp, well, it was a 24-hour clock, which really made a difference. It's not just twice as long as a 12-hour clock. It means you fall asleep, you wake up, and you're still living in the future, and you start to think, wow, this is real. You know, that's the main thing I remember about it, you know. And it was very intelligent, and it was about the history of the alternative culture, which most ravers don't know about, you know, and it's important that they know that. And I think it's just become a legend now. It's better not to say anything. For me, it's not to say anything, really. Let people read into it.
Neil, just explain what the warp actually was, please.
It was about not compromising. If you actually discover the spirit in yourself, to live for it and die for it. And it was about using my own experience, because it seemed that the whole of literature always was imagining a character which was a composite. And I thought that taking Blake's idea that if you concentrate, as it were, in a grain of sand, you see the whole of infinity. So by using my own experience, I thought that it could actually reflect the whole movement that had occurred coming back from the beatnik Bohemian period, coming right through Flower Power. And it seemed as if there was a huge betrayal going on and denial going on, that the great changes that happened through the Flower Power evolution and revolution was being denied. And I just wanted to use a shamanistic principle to say that this is always going on, that it wasn't the 60s, this is an eternal reality of actually being honest, and through that honesty discovering the human spirit. And that was my basic idea behind it, to actually think with the heart and not be put off and undermined by all the cynicism in the world. That's what it was about.
What are we doing here? Who can tell us that? Fraser, can you add a little bit more to why we're here tonight?
Whenever I start a club, it's always because I see that something's lacking in the clubs that are there, and I keep waiting for someone to do it, and then I finally realise nobody's going to do it. If I don't fucking do it, it's not going to happen. And the main thing that was happening, I thought, was talking to each other. It was politics, but bringing all that into it. It's all very well dancing all night and shouting through the loud music. You know, that's okay, that's part of it. But we have to communicate. We have to talk about issues to each other and to listen to information. You know, and I thought nobody seemed to be doing it.
So there can be no anarchy. There is order in meeting.
Shamanity is my belief. You just get rid of the old order, you get anarchy. So you've got to have some kind of shamanic force field into which we can grow when the old order collapses. And that's what this is completely about. Somebody said to me tonight, there's too much love, Fraser, there's too much love, we've got to do something.
I never did.
John, what's a shaman? Since we're talking about shaman.
A shaman is all of us going between the worlds, dissolving boundaries, unifying the living and the dead, the known and the unknown, dancing, letting it dance in us, being empty enough to let all the beings dance in us and celebrate and come together.
And Phoenix, just introduce this place to us, because we're in the most amazing Rainbow Church. What are we in?
Welcome everyone to Circle Community Centre. This is George's Theatre. It's an amazing space, built on some very old ley lines and crossing lines. It's a gateway, it's a gathering place. It's a place between the worlds, it's a place to envision future worlds, possibilities. Trying to save this as a community centre. Need as much help as possible. If anyone can come back in the weeks to come and help us out, particularly with admin, saving this place on a mundane level, but this is an amazing space and we need to save it for envisioning possible, better, more sustainable futures. And this is a gathering and an action place to put those sustainable futures into action. So let's all come together and make it happen. It's a gathering place.
Cool. Yeah.
And maybe, Fraser, thanks us, we get on with the flow of it, so maybe we could send the energy round and send a wish off that this gathering and this Parallel University carries on in a very successful way into the future to talk and to put into action sustainable futures and to discuss all these possibilities and make them happen. So maybe what we do in our circle meetings is we send the energy round and round each other, maybe send a pulse round your hands, and then we make a low sound going on up to a high sound. When you get up high, you put your hands up in the air and you kind of send that wish off to this Parallel Universe and universities and better futures will happen. And then we put our hands down on the earth and earth it with practical action. So maybe we could send the energy round, make a low humming toning sound.
Just before we do that, I just want to let people know that we're going to have a very small ceremony just around this table. I know some of you want to go off and be involved in talks, but if some of you want to gather around this table, we'll do a drinking of a bitter brew, which has been made special to prepare us for the winter and for all the challenges that we have ahead of us. So now over to you, Phoenix. You're going to pulse us, and then we'll all move into different directions.
Send the wish off, and then short ceremony, and the Iraq debate is on after this. So low sound up to a high, send off with a wish, better futures. Rainbow of energy centers up. Practical action, everyday action.
Maybe we should sit. Have we got a lovely lady called Scarlett? Scarlett here. Is it going to be in here? Yes. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. So, we've been told that we can't spread liquor. So, can people help me pour this deeply symbolic bitter dandelion?
Sorry.
Dandelion has many symbols. We have 3 bowls here. It's a very deliberative prayer. And its seeds kind of float and transform. You know, each little tiny seed will flow them. So who would like to? I don't want to do this. Who would like to? Just pour the brew into a bowl. We've got two jugs. 3 bowls and 2 jugs. John and Kate. We're going to have like a little dandelion community.
Which special new moon we're at now. I want to say to everybody,
Nick is an astronomer and an astrologer. So listen.
I want to say happy total solar eclipse on Monday. That's this Monday, right? Then Tuesday, happy Jewish New Year. Jewish New Year because on Tuesday. And Wednesday, happy Ramadan. Ramadan begins. So that's all from the new moon. It's a special new moon. New moon's a time to begin things. It's time of new beginnings.
So we raise it up, make an offering. This is to bring in the sense of as we take this and share it, this communion, people can speak out and say what is their challenge. You can express the challenge that faces humanity, or that faces you yourself.
I'll wait till the ceremony is over and then I'll...
We're having talk about humanity.
I've never
Everyone
worked
is
with
welcome to
microphones
speak out.
before, so... Oh no, somebody needs to say it, it's okay.
What can be done, should be done, and will be done.
Fully realise
All of us.
Keep passing it around and speaking up.
I'll just come in.
Share this bit of you. Prepare yourself. This is a challenge. This is an offering. This is a communion. This is a sharing. We're human beings together on a fragile planet. Keep sharing with you. Take another taste of the next verse. Speak out and share with the people who are gathered here. This is a sharing. This is a communion.
A challenge to find peace within ourselves and others.
Raven, I would like to to the children and to all the children yet to come.
Okay, ready for the war. Let's go. We have been avoiding the major issue of our time. The impotence of the group and the fact that intelligence is being constantly downgraded. We have become used to the idea life on this planet is to be governed by prejudice. Prejudice implies a distortion of the present through the mind. A mind which is a constellated set of interpretations fitted out to suit a low level of awareness. All governments today encourage selfishness.
or governments, that is, in the Western Hemisphere. And therefore, we have a responsibility to alter the psyche of our society. We cannot make this contribution if we continue to avoid confrontation with the real issue. The issue is that we are not thinking with our guts, with our bones, our heart, and our spirit. We are avoiding coming into contact with our sleep. We do not recognize the decay we are encouraging through refusing to name it. I'm going to give this talk tonight because last night I came down here and witnessed a perfect example of spiritual deterioration. People lying about here lethargic, doped up, draining people because they're too good-natured to tell them to piss off. Now, what we need is a space, a common space. Not just someone's pad, but a space where those who are attempting to create and who are creating can inspire those who think they can't create to do something. In other words, a place where someone can write poetry, another can write music, someone can do their illustrations, someone can do their ley lines, etc., etc., in peace, and therefore by doing it in public, inspire others to do it. Let's say that instead of writing at home, I write in this projected space, someone else does weaving. The atmosphere, for a start, will be an encouragement for others to experiment. You see what's happening? Do you see what's happening? There is a disappointment setting into our movement because we sense that we are not changing the form of our society. Yes, we've all taken acid, seen the light, been fried like an egg by the sun of truth, eaten up our past, but we have failed to convert. Now this is the issue. Failed to convert because we are not setting an example. We are not setting an example. One picture is worth 1,000 explanations, so goes a Chinese saying. We can only convert by being a pointer ourselves to a different way of life. This means that one's life is open to scrutiny. No hogwash. You feel acid, you take acid, you feel open. You want to love the whole of humanity, but the next day you accept the robotic behavior of people on the streets, the buses, on trains, in shops, etc. Now that's painful. But the scenario states by inference that this fact must be made subliminal. Life is being destroyed on this planet before our very eyes while we dream of enlightenment. We have to act, but to act from compassion. And that means facing that my pain is your pain and vice versa. We are all responsible for the psychic atmosphere of this planet. Each one of us is contributing to the tone of the feeling of being a human being today. So let's come on, up front. Throw away our petty, private escape plans, because we're all in this boat together. Either the whole of humanity makes it, or none of us will. This means we have to think. To learn and think beyond the surface ideation process, to think with our core. This is not easy, it means really caring. And the disease of our time is characterized by not caring. That is the devil's sneer. So first we need space to work on thinking. A common space where host and guest do not operate. We've got to work hard to get to the core of our dilemma. Let me just add one more point. We have to be an example of heartfelt caring. We're up against a massive psychic force involved in so-called scientific thought. This philosophy of science has actually nothing to do with real science, which if it existed in our society, would look at everything that is intrinsic to human life and life in general. We are being encouraged subliminally to adopt the view that the goal of existence is pleasurable duration, longevity without pain or suffering. The idea is that the meaning of living is pleasure for the body. Now the spirit is real, but its reality is not formed from photons. The spiritual nature of being is found precisely through thinking, and thinking begins with caring about life. If this is pursued with diligence and intensity, then the spiritual nature of being is revealed. So that's one speech from the walk. I'm going to do one more, because I know we're pressed for time. I'm going to give you the speech which comes more or less at the end of the play. Some of you have seen this play, some of you know very little about it. I've already gathered that, but you should know more. If you need to, then I think the entire text is available on the web now, isn't it? Yeah. This is Neil Oram, the writer of the walk, over here. It's a great work. Okay, so this is a speech that's given to a psychiatrist at the end of the play. Phil's been talking about his relationships. Look, the point is, it's the normal thing that happens with a psychic love affair. It always goes that way, from raw energy to neat form, and if you're neat too, it seems all warm. It's a struggle to stay raw. Whenever you get a strong field created by two or more people, you're bound to get interruption. If you've ever been in love, then you'll know what I mean. You don't realize that love has nothing to do with attitudes. Rachel didn't choose to live the life she's leading now. She's a wild, creative lady, held down by behavior patterns which are a defense against fear. She really tried to break out, to jump through fear. But there was no one around who had the vision or the care to take her further on, so she's been caught and brought back into the fold. When I got back from India, she was in her own space, not mine, not her mother's, but she didn't know how to handle her own energy. She needed to get away from her mother and get away from me. She was with a guy who had neither the inclination nor the insight to get her away from Cambridgeshire. She had tremendous energy and she needed a place, a free space, to work through her anger. Instead, she's been forced back into the safe mold of mother's protective world. The trouble with Rachel and her sister is that neither of them had the guts to destroy their mother within them. They're both morally as useless as a rich man's child. They both played the game of being hippies, but both of them were actually psychic agents for their mother. They were pawns in the game. The game that poo-poos the truth that the world is controlled by an overall conspiracy. Yes, Doctor, there is a conspiracy. There is a conspiracy against life. There is a conspiracy against thinking with your guts, with your blood, with your heart. There is a conspiracy against love. There is a conspiracy against the spirit. Why do you think I've gone through all this shit from her family? It's because I care about my son and I care about Rachel. And I care about love. And I care that my son's trust in me is never broken. They've done everything they can to try to break his trust in his father, and they haven't succeeded. If your trust is smashed, you tend to become a walking bag of shadows. Love keeps you bright. But you, Doctor, you're a dark contributor to the conspiracy. Look at you. The sarcastic, loveless mind. The enclosure of decay. The spitting snake dressed up for hire. You see, your rule prevents you from having any real humility. You could never admit that your life is barren and loveless. Because if you really faced it, your attachment to your role would crumble. The so-called hippie revolution was concerned with freeing energy trapped in roles. It takes guts, man. But it doesn't take any guts to act out your role. You should try thinking about that. See how much of your energy goes into your psychic stance. See how much of you is really open to the life of the spirit. The universe is a mystery. It's got to grip you. You can't grasp it. You have to die to your attachment to your silly authoritarian game you play to feel the mystery of your own being. But you enjoy being a spokesman for lifelessness, don't you? There's a war going on! A war! Between the spirit and the mind! Between the eternal present and the past! Between intelligence and inertia, between faith and rationale, between hip and square. Perhaps you really mean friendship. No doubt it will be revealed. Perhaps habit is truth, and truth enslaves, and we all need to cherish illusion. I think I'll join the police force. They've usually got good dope for sale. Thank you.